look at Floyd. Like, Floyd spends money like it's a tap. Like, he's got a tap, just like unlimited amount of money. Money's just flowing. And even as much money as he's made in his career, which he's probably made as much, if not more money than any boxer ever. Like, there's all these lawsuits. Like, he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I think it's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. It's like he gotta be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where he shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know.
All the money. He gotta show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, you know, he got the latest watch and the latest car, and look what I just bought.
And when you get into latest watches and latest cars, you get into that, like, boy, that money goes quick.
Yeah.
Bugattis are like $3 million. There's watches that are $3-5 million. That's crazy. So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10. That's nuts.
Joe Rogan did not stay quiet when Floyd Mayweather Jr. started talking about his real estate success. He openly questioned the story, and during the podcast he leaned forward and said, "Wait a second, that calculation does not make sense."
And one of the reasons why people watch him fight is not because he's like Mike Tyson, just goes out and destroys people. They like watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my fucking jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like, this is $1 million worth of watches, this watch goes for $2 million, and they're like, this is my small watch that I take sometimes, but when I'll show you, when I'll show up, I bring out the big boy, and it brings out this watch that's covered in diamonds. It's like $5 million. And so you hate him.
And that Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment, his private jet fuel. He's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets, and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million loan from a individual, from a billionaire, that had a 9% interest on the loan.
Joe Rogan challenged the story around Floyd Mayweather Jr. and his property claims, saying Floyd talks about owning many buildings worth tens of millions, but making bold statements and proving real ownership are two completely different things.
Say to the IRS, how much does he owe?
It's in the $20+ million range.
It's a lot of money, man.
But it's not something that he's been, it's not like deception.
No.
It's just neglect to pay.
Neglect. And it's also like, I think, and there is like a truth to this, he makes so much money, there's probably a point when they're like, hey, it's time to pay your taxes. And you go like, all right, here's a check for $25 million. That's an incredible amount of money. And then they go, that's true, but you owe 50 more. And he's just like, that can't be right. I've given you $25 million.
Yeah, he's bought over 100 luxury cars from the same dealer and always pays in cash.
He has $15 million worth of cars.
Congrats. You can sell.
That is where things start getting intense, because Floyd Mayweather Jr. created the entire Money Mayweather image around endless wealth piles of cash, expensive watches, and a powerful financial empire that looked impossible to shake, but reports moving through the business world are showing a much more complicated situation.
That Floyd Mayweather is made, and because he's the best in the history of pay-per-view at making sure that the money ends up in his pocket. He is or has been a businessman as an athlete that almost doesn't have a peer because he owns all his own stuff as an independent. Your spending has to be so fiscally irresponsible to lose the amount of money that Floyd Mayweather has lost that it is almost beyond anything that is reason. It's not merely fiscal insanity. It's something that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. And another sign of him maybe in financial trouble is, as of February 2026, Floyd Mayweather has initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion over the course of his career in just earnings from fight.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. built a career on making sure the pay-per-view money always landed in his own pocket, and he became known as one of the smartest athlete businessmen ever because he controlled his brand and worked independently without relying on others. Losing the kind of money Floyd reportedly lost would require spending that goes far beyond normal bad decisions, and it feels almost impossible to understand. It is not just poor money management, it simply does not make sense to many people. Another sign that he might be facing financial pressure came in February 2026 when Floyd Mayweather filed a huge $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza, which suggests he may be trying to recover major money right now. Estimates say that during his boxing career Mayweather earned more than $1.2 billion from fights alone.
They said that, things that they said in this article were insane. That Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment, his private jet fuel. He's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million loan.
According to Business Insider, 2 commercial properties linked to Floyd Mayweather Jr. have already gone into foreclosure, and reports also claim that his Las Vegas strip club building could face seizure because of unpaid property taxes. On top of that, there have been lawsuits accusing him of not paying large bills for luxury watches and jewelry, claims that Floyd has strongly denied. All of this has slowly shifted the discussion away from showing off wealth and towards serious questions about his financial situation.
What's wrong with that? And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. Did they say he can't read? That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it. I don't tease him for it. He was a guy who grew up in a boxing channel, right? I mean, it's one of these things. You know what you know. You know what you were taught. I didn't teach him about contracts. I didn't teach him about saving. I didn't teach him about investments. Who would have taught him these things? Of course he's broke.
The report also mentioned that 2 condos at Trump International Hotel Las Vegas connected to Floyd Mayweather Jr. were briefly taken over because of unpaid taxes before they were returned after the payment was made, and another report claimed that a huge $54 million loan used his home's private jet and businesses as collateral. Whether this is exaggeration or confusion, the difference between the rich public image and these reports has clearly sparked debate. Earlier doubts from Joe Rogan about Floyd's financial empire had already started the discussion. But then Chael Sonnen jumped into the conversation like someone grabbing the microphone and saying, "Forget being quiet." Chael looked at the whole "Is Floyd broke?" headline and basically said, "Why is everyone acting surprised about this?"
He's a gambling addict. He's got baby mamas all over the... What do you mean is he broke? Of course he's broke. What boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. And it's the same thing with the check. I got $100 million for a fight. Oh, you did? Who signed the check? Whoever signed the check is going to want credit for it. There's never been a time that $1 million check was written and the dude that wrote the check didn't make sure that somebody found out he wrote the check. So who wrote the check? Floyd's got a whole bunch of them, apparently. He got $1 billion. Who wrote the check?
He flips the question back to the audience and says, if you wake up every week and go to work because you need money, then why would it be strange for a boxer to keep fighting for the same reason? Chael Sonnen delivers the point with his usual blunt style, mixing sharp honesty with a bit of trolling energy. He then starts breaking down the myth around huge boxing paydays, explaining that the billion-dollar earnings stories and massive pay-per-view numbers often come from press statements rather than confirmed financial records. When he says that no one from the companies actually handling the pay-per-views has publicly verified those extreme figures, it suddenly puts years of boxing hype into question.
And I'm only sharing with you, like, the numbers aren't what you think they are, right? The numbers are good, and they made a lot of money, but it's not what you think it is. And, yeah, of course Floyd's broke. Would you be boxing if you weren't? And it's very tough to be sympathetic.
At the same time, Chael Sonnen is not only criticizing Floyd Mayweather Jr., he is calling out the way the entire sports world tells financial stories. He then shifts the focus to contract problems, explaining that Floyd announcing several fights around a possible matchup with Mike Tyson would frustrate any promoter, because in the fight business timing and exclusivity matter more than anything. That is where the irony becomes clear, as Chael points out that Floyd is accusing Showtime Networks of questionable business behavior.
Mayweather owes Logan Paul $1.3 million. No, he doesn't. just to clear that up, no, he doesn't. Will Logan ever get the money? I think Floyd's broke. Floyd does not owe Logan $1.3 million. Floyd's promotion owes Logan $1.3 million. And no, of course he's not going to get it. That promotion's already shut down. Allegedly, by the way.
While critics say Floyd Mayweather Jr. and his promotion also created confusion during the event with Logan Paul, the situation starts to look like a circle where everyone believes someone else is the problem. At the same time, Chael Sonnen unintentionally points out an interesting contradiction. People may question Floyd finances, doubt the size of his paydays, argue about contracts, or laugh at exhibition fights, but the moment Mayweather name shows up on a fight poster, the entire combat sports world still stops and pays attention.
Shannon Sharpe and Ocho Cinco suggested on their podcast that Floyd Mayweather is talking about coming back, unretiring.
He is.
Because he's broke.
Yeah.
Let's play the clip here of Shannon Sharpe and Ocho Cinco.
There are only 3 fights that Floyd can have that can command and get the kind of money he's looking to recoup for money that may have been lost, or money that may have been stolen, or money he may have spent, to date. For one, a rematch with Canelo. That's one fight.
Canelo too big.
Listen to me, Unc. We talk about making that money. He ain't gonna have no choice.
Chael Sonnen had already stirred up the whole Floyd might be broke debate, but then Jason Whitlock and his panel join in, and the discussion quickly turns into a full-on round of financial detective work, and I am sitting there thinking, wow, we have officially moved from fight analysis to forensic accounting with boxing gloves. Whitlock kicks it off by agreeing with Shannon Sharpe and others who say Floyd coming out of retirement is really about chasing a huge payday, and as soon as names like Canelo Alvarez, Manny Pacquiao, and Terrence Crawford get mentioned, you can instantly feel the business side. Shannon points out those are the only fights that could bring in the kind of money Floyd wants, and that is not just guesswork, that is basically the celebrity super fight menu. Then Whitlock throws in a Rocky movie reference, asking why do you fight, and suddenly the conversation goes philosophical in the funniest way.
$1 billion and he's 47 years old and he's completely broke. He's won the prize. This is, of all the idiots that we've seen out there, celebrities, actors, entertainers, that have lost a lot of money, this guy would take the cake. To blow a bill before he even hits 50 is unimaginable. It actually is sad. It's a cautionary tale. We have seen it time and time again. But who actually wants to watch this guy fight? Like, people that love him. If he comes out and what if he loses and looks terrible and gets destroyed? Well, look, if you love him or hate him, you can say, well, he's nearly 50 years old. This doesn't prove it.
Because Floyd built his whole brand around the idea that money equals success, literally changing from pretty boy to money, and Jason Whitlock points out the harsh irony. When your entire image is based on wealth, any rumor about money problems immediately becomes a major headline. Then Dre adds a practical perspective, saying the real issue is not what Floyd earned, but what we do not know about his liquidity, assets, debts, taxes, and lifestyle, basically the financial iceberg beneath the flashy Instagram pictures. Meanwhile, the panel makes jokes about gamblers going broke, IRS bills, and luxury spending, and suddenly Floyd's career starts to look less like a victory lap and more like a complex puzzle. The part that makes me laugh is while half the panel questions the idea of a nearly 50-year-old fighter returning, the other half quietly admits what every fight fan knows deep down: if Floyd Mayweather actually announces a fight with someone like Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, or even Manny Pacquiao again, everyone arguing about it now will still be watching when the bell rings.
Part of that is because of the way Floyd Mayweather goes about his business. He's been filthy rich. He's made his name, his legacy, and a lot of his reputation wasn't just the boxing, it was the money. It's the money man. What I have, what I'm driving, what I'm living in, what I'm flying in. And a lot of people, they don't like that. I don't know if Floyd Mayweather had more supporters for most of his fights or more haters, but regardless of where you fall on that line, Floyd Mayweather made it work for him when many people, promoters included, networks included, early on didn't think that he can.
Jason Whitlock and his panel had already turned the Floyd comeback story into a financial courtroom drama, but then Andre Ward joins the conversation, and the mood immediately shifts from hot take speculation to thoughtful fighter-level reflection. That contrast really stands out. Ward starts by reminding everyone he has always respected Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s work ethic, and that part often gets overlooked when people only focus on the flashy lifestyle. Ward explains that all the glitz, the cars, the jets were part of the Mayweather brand, but underneath it there was always a gym rat who never skipped training. When Ward admits he feels conflicted about this comeback, you can sense the honesty, because he is not attacking Floyd like the rumor mill does, he is speaking about something deeper. Boxing becomes part of your identity, and Ward points out that the adrenaline, the attention, and the huge fight night paychecks create a feeling that normal life cannot match.
Gonna watch a fighter, he'll say he don't watch him, but he'll watch any potential opponent over and over and over, and he has to process, can he do anything with me? How does my skill set line up with his? Can I beat him? The problem with being 49 years of age is sometimes your brain can see things and tell you things that your body's not in agreement with. That's the problem with age. Your brain is still saying, I'm him. Your brain is still saying, man, I'm Money Mayweather. Man, these youngsters can't deal with me. But your body is saying, brother, we can't do it like that anymore.
That is the kind of perspective only a former champion like Andre Ward can provide. Then he shifts to the idea of a Pacquiao rematch, and suddenly the analyst in me kicks back in. Ward highlights an interesting point: older fighters can sometimes create more action because they cannot rely on constant movement like they used to. Less foot speed, more exchanges, and that idea alone challenges the common narrative that this fight would automatically be boring. But the main concern Ward keeps returning to is the real risk of age. Your mind still feels like the same fighter while your body quietly disagrees, and that explains many of boxing's greatest tragedies. Still, Ward admits he would rather see both legends relaxing on a beach enjoying retirement, but he also says curiosity wins again, because when two icons with unfinished history step back into the ring, the entire fight world will watch whether we plan to or not.
That's the struggle, and that's the danger of coming back at this age. So part of me wants to see these guys continue to make money. Part of me wants to see these guys, how do they do it at this age? Man, show me something. Show me how your mind can overtake the deficiencies you may have in your body at your age. But the deeper part of me, man, I want to see Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao on a beach somewhere, living off the fruits of their labor, helping the game however they see fit to help the game, and just watching the next generations do what they do. But hey, we got to fight September 19th.
When you step back and look at the whole situation, it feels like four different realities crashing together at once. Joe Rogan is questioning the story of Floyd Mayweather financial empire. Chael Sonnen is tearing apart the myths around boxing paydays. Jason Whitlock and his panel are breaking down the business and lifestyle side of things. And then Andre Ward adds the fighter perspective, reminding everyone that boxing gets into your DNA in a way money alone cannot replace. One side argues Floyd's comeback is about chasing another huge payday. Another side says the financial rumors are overblown gossip, and Ward quietly reminds us that sometimes fighters return for the spotlight, the competition, and the adrenaline that normal life cannot replicate. That is the real tension: legacy versus longevity, business versus passion. And whether people think Floyd is chasing money history or just the feeling of being Money Mayweather again, the truth is the discussion itself shows his influence, because everyone is debating, arguing, and analyzing every part of this comeback, and that is exactly the pull legends have on the sport.